All right, it's working.
Yeah, you're gonna have to take it offline, and we're gonna have to mess with it.
No, it's fine. It's fine now.
Did you
Oh,
fix
is it
it?
fine?
Yeah, I fixed it.
Mittani mic bad. Okay.
That's okay. All anyone wants to hear is Laz, so it's fine. Oh, Darius Johnson's face and Mittani's face.
Alex has turned into There we go.
All right. So can people hear me now, or what?
Right now.
Well, it's like a 2-minute delay or whatever. So
No,
This is
it's
amazing.
like a 30-second delay.
Yeah.
Are
Hopefully
you
not
sure?
that.
Are you sure you don't have like a half-hour delay set up?
It works all better. So what did you screw up there, actually, Laz?
My
input device.
my virtual audio cable for streaming Fleet Fights and stuff.
Oh, that's right, because you have everything set up to try to like make it all OPSEC-y and
Exactly. So everything kind of
everything we're saying is privileged. It's OPSEC. You can't,
Okay, so we're all good now.
Secrets. Okay.
Okay, so we have an important question before we continue. Will there be licking?
No, I know.
I mean, unless John wants to lick his camera.
I
I don't
try
know
to,
how I would get there.
I can like.
I have a
lick
Taco Bell
myself,
taco.
or-
You can watch me. As opposed to licking, I will eat this taco.
I don't think people are going
I
to pay
mean,
to see you eat a taco.
It would be
If you want to
basically just as
subscribe to
good.
the show to watch you eat a taco, great.
Oh my god.
I wouldn't pay money to see you eat a taco. I'd pay money to see you not eat a taco.
I might sound like I have a
pretty
cool
good.
because I'm
5
I'm the
subscribers
slightest
and
bit-
Sean will not eat his taco.
No, I gotta eat my fucking lunch. I don't care how many subs you get. It's not changing whether I eat this food.
Oh my
We're
goodness.
going to hear the glorious sound of you.
That's what I was gonna say. For 5 subs, I won't chew directly into the microphone when I eat it, and you might be able to enjoy yourself.
That's amazing. Okay.
Means you're all blurry.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. Like all of a
Your
sudden,
camera's got to auto adjust. Just give it a
There
second.
it is.
Just don't move.
Not there.
No,
you go.
that's your personal camera. Oh wow, nice.
Okay. Okay. Let's try and get this stuff started. So
we have the
come
holidays.
back from
Yeah.
3 weeks of
holidays.
nothing.
Bah
So how has everything been with everybody, first of all?
I hate the holidays. I'm definitely a bah humbug kind of guy. Like, if you can have Christmas light where you get like a poinsettia and just ignore it, or you can have like full contact Christmas. And we had full contact Christmas for weeks and weeks and weeks. And
Oh, that's exciting.
yeah. So I'm glad that's over. But very little actually seemed to happen in Eve, at least in our neck of the woods. There
Yeah.
was some excitement with Brave Newbies and PL, and looks like an incipient war beginning between Solar Fleet and Legion of Death. But this is actually, I think, probably the quietest holiday season in Eve that I've seen in many years in terms of nullsec conflict.
Yeah, that's crazy because last year we had the Halloween war right now in this exact time frame.
Yep, everything was heating up because the Russians have like a month off and they get to go on campaign. It's like perfect campaign season for them.
Well, when we see the Russians again and having their wars against each other.
Why do Russians get a month off?
They basically like have Orthodox Christmas or something, and basically starting New Year's, they pretty much just have nothing to do through January except kill each other in Eve.
Well,
In
that's
America,
exciting.
are we the only people who don't take more than like 2 days off for anything?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, I took till full 2 weeks off. I was like, nope.
The fuck is wrong with you?
Well, she's
Yeah,
Canadian.
no, 2 weeks. 2 weeks I've seen. Oh, Canadian. Like, take 2 weeks off, eh?
Hey.
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 Laz, you want to turn up your mic a little bit?
It's already turned up.
Oh, okay, you're quiet, apparently.
People say they can barely hear you because reasons. People are complaining about my facial hair. I wonder what would actually be better if I did shave this horrible thing.
No,
off.
then you'd look like a 12-year-old. Let's not do that.
Go ahead.
Well, do you want to see? Do you like little boys?
No,
Is
we're not
that
going
what
to do
you're
it now.
saying?
We'll make
How
it
many
like
subs to shave
we'll
it
make
off?
it a big thing, and we'll get tons of subs.
We'll
It's fine.
have a big thing to have me
Okay.
look like a child for weeks.
So we had, like you guys said, we didn't have a whole lot that happened in Eve, but we did have a couple updates from various bodies in Eve. We had a CFC update. I don't know if you want to talk about that at all. And we had an NC dot update a few days ago.
You know, I almost don't even remember doing a CFC update.
Maybe someone wrote an article about it on the
There was
Mittani
I think we had a diplomatic update where we went
Yeah,
through.
it was the Diplo update.
Okay, right. So yeah, our Diplo team periodically does these, or is supposed to do these. It often will take them like 6 months or so between goes, but it's sort of a general overview of how we see everyone in the galaxy and how they see us, which is usually they don't really like us that much.
We need our spin zone graphic right now because we're about to talk about CFC doings.
Well,
Let's
we
go,
do.
Laz.
Can we have the spin zone? Can we make this happen?
Boom. It's there. It's played.
All right,
Okay,
awesome.
so it's time for our CFC minute of how everyone is bad and the CFC is amazing. Let's go.
Okay, so we're the best. Actually, we're really not. Things have been quiet. All of our enemies came at us after Phoebe. They made a lot of noise. In fact, on this show, you may remember, there was a lot of...
That was pretty fucking cool.
Thanks, Darius Johnson. Appreciate it.
So,
I like that.
I learned everything that I learned about leadership in EVE Online from this man here with his taco. Let me see if I can actually point. Oh, we're like Hollywood Squares now, right? So
Right,
yeah.
if I point down like this,
you
it
point at
should
me.
show.
No, you point at me. It's the other direction.
Oh, it's the other way.
Laz,
So
he's
I point
this
down
way.
here because it's reversed. I see.
Yeah.
So
Is it so I gotta go like this?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
let's see. We got to wait for like a minute to see all of
dear.
the ridiculous pointing. But no, things that basically like everybody, there was a lot of herf blurf on the usual places like Reddit and Failheap, where all of our enemies who have been losing wars against us for the last zillion years talked about how Phoebe was going to be the death of the CFC and herf blurf. And then they tried to come at us and they failed again. And now they're busy doing something else, anything else besides trying to assault the walls of the castle and finding out that having boiling oil dumped on your head hurts. So we have no real news in CFC.
Yeah. Well, Triumvirate was
good.
banging on your door there for a bit, and then they kind of fizzled out. And then
they got Mr. V dropped on them, and they lost like 60 rattlesnakes in one go, and they were very bitter with that whole DMC. That's right. That was right before the holidays.
Yes,
the DMCA
that's...
takedown stuff and all the they were so mad. And then nothing.
And then Evoke and N3 were sort of banging on Fountain Wall, and N3 has left that alone, it seems. And it seems like Evoke has followed suit and has
Evoke,
left.
I thought, has actually
Isn't
left.
that-
Joined
Is
in.
that that Nazi alliance?
Can we say that on
Weren't
Twitch?
they aligned with what's wrong with saying Nazi? I thought they were like some kind of white supremacist spaceship
Evoke?
alliance.
No,
I'm
no,
actually
yeah.
not sure.
Evoke is actually German. No, Evoke is a German alliance.
Oh, German.
Yeah, they're German. That doesn't mean they're Nazis. They're just German.
Let's watch that.
I know there's a difference.
There is a difference, Sean Conover.
No, I remember
I saw a video. There was a video a long time ago about Evoke and Cloud Ring.
Yeah,
And it was titled that, so I can understand your confusion, Darius. Like, I mean, it's a people make mistakes all the time, right?
Sorry. I know.
I think they actually they
German
joined in 3 or something. I lost track of them because they had been living in Syndicate and sort of poking at Cloud Ring over and over again with this little group called Vega, which is basically their like allied group. They had a group called Ewoks, which was like their little buddies, and now they had Vega. And then they like gave up and joined in 3 and said they were moving to Tenerife or some Christ, I don't even know. But they remain as relevant as ever.
If the Nazis join N3, would they have to call it N4?
I think they're down to N2 actually. So like it would probably just move
Okay.
back up to like N3, right? 'Cause they lost Nexus Fleet, and so that's really just what happens if NC Dot resets them? I mean, if NC Dot is moved into Aquarius and they actually reset the rest of N3, then it's just N, right? It's just Nully Secunda.
Yeah.
Because they lost NC, if they lose they lost Nexus Fleet, if they lose Nully Secunda, and if they lose NC Dot, then it's just N. Or Piggle and Friends. We should just rename them Piggle and Friends, I think.
Oh, that's terrible.
Pickles Playhouse.
Piggle's Playhouse.
Is Piggle their leader?
Oh God, legend. I started calling him Piggle because I figured my nickname is Mittens. Piggle works.
Yeah, it's
I'm
just
saying
as fun and
PGL
cute,
isn't
right?
So Piggle.
So CFC TLDR, we're awesome and we held all our space despite the naysayers. Is that the TLDR of the CFC spin zone?
That is pretty much the TLDR of the spin zone. The nice thing about the spin zone is it's supported by the map, and people can try to say I'm spinning like a tornado, but it is the case. So deal with it, basically. Yeah.
So we'll move on to NC Dot's update, which was a few days ago, and they made the call to move away from their blues in Quirius and Delve. and have moved to an undecided location or are looking to move.
So what are they saying? They have too many blues?
I don't know. It says all the updates said that NC has made the choice to move away from Quirius and Delve, which is where all their blues are stationed, to an undecided location.
They're going to go help the Russians, basically, in Geminate. They're going to go help X-Death.
Yeah, they showed up to help Legion of Death against Black Legion and Solar Fleet, which is like this big mess of a Russian civil war that, well, it's not really a civil war, it's just a war. And yeah, I don't really know what's going to happen with that. I don't want to get involved in that at all. Initially speaking, people were saying that the CFC were going to be helping Solar doing this or doing that, but we usually don't show up to assist anything involving Black Legion on the same side ever since that whole Halloween War thing. So I don't know. I think it's going to be curious to see what NC ends up doing, though, because I think that they were expecting some sort of dramatic hell war or a grand campaign to attack the CFC in Fountain. That ran into a brick wall, and now they're going to do stuff.
Yeah. They're going to do stuff. That is...
Well, you know, when an alliance doesn't have a purpose, and when their purpose for a long time has been to have a specific enemy that they're going after, this alliance update from NC was it actually written by Vince, this one, or was this one from Travis or Soho? I actually haven't read.
Did it have racist things in it?
Well, the Vince one has lots of exclamation points. Like just before the holidays, there was an NC update which had more exclamation points harmed in it than I have ever seen. You know, we need to have a PETA for exclamation points. I actually thought it was like some sort of a spy catching thing, like they're going to try to key using steganography. Like this one was leaked from this guy because
so we got 7 exclamation
points, right? Like it's coded, right? Oh wow, we caught the spy because this version only had 37 exclamation points, and you know it's different for everybody. But no, it was just
the exclamation points. The number of exclamation points is your user ID on the forum.
Exactly.
That's how you know which account used it.
The difficulty is like. In that update between all the exclamation points, Vince was saying that like, you know, one of the difficulties that they face is that like if the CFC just leaves them alone in Quirius, they're probably more effective way to kill them than going to war against them. And we are leaving them alone in Quirius, like we're just doing nothing. Laz, you did something that managed to completely blot out everybody's face on Skype.
Everyone's face? Oh, that's because I swapped to a different Skype.
Yeah, I hope you're not showing any sensitive Skype channels with.
No, I'm showing Blarf.
Blarf.
Yeah.
This is perfect
anymore.
because like now we actually have like a, you know, we get to yell at the producer.
Yeah. I'm now the producer. I'm now the guy getting yelled at.
Jesus, what is this? Fucking film school, you dipshit.
Damn it, Laz!
God, that's so mean.
Oh my. Well, I'm glad that this is a professional production because.
Well, at least Blarf is unbanned now. You're welcome, guys.
That's important.
This is hilarious because whenever anybody like loses a war to us, this brain trust of geniuses here, yeah.
Oh, dear.
There is.
So, talking about N3 kind of leads us into talking about the Russians because that's probably where they're headed. So, what are the Russians up to?
Laz, do you wanna get this or?
Well, we can start off with the hero PL conflict since that's actually.
What I want to talk about actually is how Darius has muted his mic and is like yelling at his kids or something, and you can actually.
I think he's talking to his wife actually.
Exactly, like you can see him in a very animated way doing his thing, and anyway.
We'll talk about Brave and PL first because that's probably the most interesting thing.
Are we changing
EVE Online right now?
Are we changing to Brave? We're not going to talk about the Russians? I thought you were
going to
have...
I think Laz wants to talk about Brave, and then we'll talk about
Brave kind of segues into the Russians later. So if we...
Let's do that.
It kind of works out better. It kind of flows I'm producing this damn show.
What I say goes. So Brave and PL, obviously, they're back and forth. Brave loses stuff, PL loses stuff, etc. So what's been going on? Laz?
What's been going on? I don't know what's going on. What are you talking about? No, basically, Pandemic Legion has been reinforcing lots of different things around catch to cause fights, and they've gotten a few good fights out of it. A lot of times they will actually lose the strategic objective, but they'll get a lot of kills out of it, so that's kind of win-win for them. They did lose a fight in RNF where they had 2 timers come out at the exact same time,
Right.
but they, instead of waiting for Hero to go ahead and pick what they were going to defend, Paramedic Legion jumped into where the system they wanted to fight in first, which means they got blobbed into a dead-end system.
Yeah.
And being outnumbered and stuck in a dead-end system does not usually turn out well for the guys outnumbered.
Well, PL chose to defend. They had, apparently they had a Titan in build or something. Was that
No,
is that what's going on?
Hero
with that?
had the CSA. It was the CSA and RNF that
Oh,
Hero
okay.
wanted to defend, and Head GP was also coming out of Reinforced at the exact same
Right.
time.
So they lost both timers and the ISK war, I'm assuming.
Yeah, they get properly dunked in that fight.
Yes, I definitely knew they lost the ISK
CSA
war.
also got destroyed. So
No. It was Hero CSA. Yeah,
Gotcha. Okay.
That was one thing, because I was reading through the article and it was actually very unclear about that, was who owned what was going on with the timers and who won them. Like, that part is completely eliminated from the
Really?
article. Yes.
Are you serious? Oh
Yes.
my god. Okay, so yeah, holidays were interesting for the website. That's kind of curious. I need you to get. I need to have that forwarded on because we have a battle report template to try to make these things more clear, right?
Right.
But I don't know whether that's actually getting used. We'll have to see though. But yeah, it's been curious because it looks like PL is using those CSAs to sort of jerk Brave around, Hero around, which makes sense. I guess the question really is who is building what in them? Do you know what corporation those CSAs are owned by? Like, is it actually like the main Brave Newbies Corp or one of the member corps?
The CSAs are owned by Bearded Battle Bears.
Huh.
All CSAs
Whoever that is.
owned by Bearded Battle Bears. That's one of their
Is
richer
that
corporations.
just some member corp kind of thing?
Yeah,
It's
it's
not
a member
like,
corp. Yeah, it's
okay.
but like I said, it's owned by that corp is probably the richest corp in Brave.
Okay.
I can't decide whether it's a cool name or just a really shitty name for a corp.
I guess it depends
it's
on
not
the quality
worse
of the
than-
beard, right?
It's not
But-
worse than naming your alliance coalition. So like, I can't really complain about that. Like the Northern Coalition Alliance
with a dot
sounds
at the
retarded.
end. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's,
Oh, dear. I was going to say something, and now my brain is. You guys made me laugh, and I
you know,
started thinking
if
about that,
we
now
start
it's
going
gone.
after people's names, we're going to be here all day because
very long time.
all of the dots. I would just be curious as to why the focus on those CSAs, like other than to provoke fights. Is there something about those CSAs that is attracting that attention? Are they building for Brave? Are they building for somebody else? Because PL has mostly been farming Brave for fights and fun, right? And it stops being fun the moment that a CSA gets hit, right?
Right. Well, they've been hitting lots of different structures in catch, mainly stations and iHubs, and they've had a few final timers where they get big fights out of it. But the CSAs started out as one, and I think they've recently put up 3 or 4 more. So the question now is, with all these extra CSAs, are they still building for themselves, or are they building for someone else? And
Well, it's interesting to think about too, because I mean, Brave is obviously a very lower SP, like alliance slash like what everybody in their alliance is kind of lower skill points. Like they're I think they recently went up to Tengus, but like they're really shitty fit Tengus from what I've been seeing. Like they're very newbie friendly Tengus, so to speak. It's interesting though to see that they're able to, like, they're slowly pushing the SP requirements up for their pilots as they're fighting.
They could probably
PL.
handle Tengus all the way around. Like there are lots of newbies, but you can just put newbies. I mean, for Goonswarm, we have Tengu fleets, but we have got tons of newbies that we just put in, Celestises or Molluses for the Brave equivalent. It is incidentally getting really annoying to just have Tengus everywhere. It's
I
either
know.
Tengus or Ishtars all across Eve, and it seems like a very obvious and reasonable balance problem. But what was that? Actually, it was linked around. And I think it was on Reddit. It was an image that was getting posted around, like EVE Online 2015. It was showing a battle report from one of the recent big fights, and on both sides, it's just Tengus all the way down.
it probably was the I6.
It was the
fight.
I6 fight. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just one big Tengu fuckfest. because this game is currently really balanced.
I was going to say, isn't that everything right now? It seems like Tengus are the answer to everything, just like Drakes were the answer to everything, like, what, a year and a half ago?
Pretty much. I mean, your choice right now is basically Ishtars or Tengus. And
well, the one downside to the Tengus is they use hybrid damage, which is easily tankable. It's probably the easiest damage types to tank against. So instead of having to, or being able to choose your damage type, like with artillery or autocannon and stuff like that, they do have that one limiting factor.
I'd really like to see an injection of more variety into the fleet meta, because like we've had eras of block war where you actually have a lot of doctrine sort of excitement, right? Rock, paper, scissors types things, different fleets. We've been seeing, sentry drone doctrines and Tengu doctrines now for months with essentially no variation at all. There's a few people who tried to do Apocalypse, Navy Apocalypse, and Hello. Okay, now I see.
Yeah, no,
I was watching the screen over here. You briefly popped up.
Yes.
I think that people wanted to see some triage carriers wandering around with, these fleets taking gates with the Tempest Fleet Issue doctrines and the Navy APOC doctrines. But in practice, we really haven't seen that manifest on the block warfare level. Do you know why that is, Laz? Because I know that PL tried.
The CFC does that. If you see a Tengu fleet leave the CFC, it's usually trailed.
We have Chimeras now.
Yeah, 3 or 4 Chimeras with it. Or Dominic's fleets, you'll see 3 or 4 Archons with it.
Right.
And you're not going to see that in these fights elsewhere, because the biggest counter to those type of things is going to be either suicide dreads or super capitals.
Right.
And if with the CFC is able to kind of have this envelope that this certain range that they can go without having to worry about that because of super capitals.
Right.
However, like in the South, you can always bring those still, and it's risk versus reward. How many capitals can you bring where the enemy says it's still too risky to drop and kill those because there's not enough kills to justify doing it? But you as more and more people start using more battleships, you'll see them more and more.
Right. Well, the question is, January 1st has come and gone. That's actually a major change that hasn't really been discussed yet. After January 1st, of course, IS boxing has been banned in EVE. And one of the reasons why we haven't seen many battleship fleets over the years is that bombing has been so effective. People using IS boxing bomber wings to be able to just wipe out battleship fleets. Now, a lot of people who were serious IS boxers were saying that they could use macros and stuff to basically replicate IS Boxer, like keyboard macros on their G15 or what have you.
Right.
And I don't know whether we've seen the famous IS Boxer bomber guys who did it themselves, like When I Am in Space or Kunmi. Have you seen any reports of them actually pulling it off post January 1st?
I haven't seen the IS Boxers guys doing it, but there was a fight in Head GP actually last week where Pandemic Legion went in and they got bombed. Probably about 100, 150 bombs were dropped on them throughout that fleet. And what Pandemic Legion does with their TFIs is they have smart bombs on them. And with the 12-second bomb change, it's a lot easier for these battleships to spread out and time their smart bombs to be able to kill the bombs before they actually blow up. So a single smart bomb that is not the damage type of that bomb will kill it in one blow.
A single smart bomb can kill a bomb in one blow? Huh.
The other thing to note with the is-boxing thing is that bomber fleets were a thing before is-boxing fleets were a thing. So
right, but
you have to coordinate. Like the difference being, it can't just be one guy doing it. But as soon as we go back to what we had before, which was the remote rep battleship fleet being a thing, where everyone's just kind of sitting in a blob remote repping each other, then you'll see the counter to that, which was player flown bomber fleets, blowing that up. So if we go back to that, then the counter for that is people flying bombers.
I mean, battleships are going to become more and more of a thing as people realize that you can kill bombs with smart bombs, and it's just more of a coordination thing at that point.
Coordination in EVE, that's easy.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, not a lot of people can pull that off. So
yeah.
Well, it's going to be interesting because the IS boxing thing in particular, from a strategic perspective, one of the reasons why pizza was sort of relevant at a strategic level was When I Am in Space and AMSI being individual pilots running multiple bomber wings, not having fleets, right? Fleets existed, but
yeah, that's the change. It's just that I think my only point being I wouldn't make the statement that because we banned ISBOX or bomber fleets are going away. Bomber fleets existed.
Oh, no,
before people did
absolutely.
this.
Bomber fleets are going to continue to be a thing at a large-scale coalition warfare level. Like organizations like Bomberwaff and Hero and all these guys are going to have human-piloted bomber fleets, and those are still going to be effective. But the difficulty with IS Boxer was, since they were all coordinated mechanically at a software level, they struck with a really incredible level of precision.
It was asymmetric. It was
exactly.
cheap and easy. Yeah.
And it allowed like one guy to essentially wipe out a 200-person fleet if they were in a little ball correctly. And, he could run 2 wings of bombers by himself, and then there you go. So, all right.
So, Laz, how is this supposed to segue into the Russians?
Yeah.
Pandemic Legion reinforced all the CSAs and RNF, and the time that they were coming out was last night. They came out last night of reinforced, and before the I-6 fight on Friday, Brave was told if they come and help Pandemic Legion and NC Dot and Death, that NC Dot and PL will not kill the CSAs. So that's why you saw Hero join the flight in I-6 yesterday and defend the system.
Interesting.
Somebody's saying we need to have a no cell phone regulation for the show, because
I'm not looking at my cell phone.
Yeah, one of my partners was pinging me and was like, "Hey, you should be on this conference call," and I'm like, "I'm on live TV, so you're gonna have to wait." Anyway, so that sort of segues into the whole Russian business, which is a huge, disastrous mess.
Well, isn't it always?
More so than usual this time. I think it's really kind of curious because we've got this kind of battered wife syndrome kind of weird situation here where PL and NC Dot have periodically farmed Brave and Hero, attacking their CSAs, farming them in head, and then Geminate has come under attack, owned by Legion of Death, is being attacked by Solar Fleet and a group of other Russian allies. So Solar Fleet is going after them with Gorgon Empire, Red Alliance, as well as Black Legion. PL and NC Dot hate Black Legion, unless when Travis is in charge of NC Dot, in which case Travis and Elos are buddies and everything's fine. So they had a big fight the other day, and was it I-6, right? And that was the system?
I-6?
I-6, yeah.
Yeah, it was I-6 is where they had a big fight yesterday. I think local went up to 1,700, 1,800. And it was Tingus is what was on the field.
Exciting. Okay,
yes.
So, but what was interesting about that from a political perspective is that it looks like NC Dot leaned on or asked Blue Ice, who is the FC from Brave, who is usually doing whatever NC Dot says, to come up and help.
I'm not sure if it was Blue Ice or if it was just Brave leadership.
No, it was in terms of who got leaned on or who led the fleet.
Who got leaned on?
Okay, well, somebody got leaned on that, or I don't know. Blue Ice usually does whatever NC Dot asks him to, but now I think it is today we're hearing that Hero is forming up to support Black Legion, and
that's
Solar
what I've been told
against these other guys.
Yeah, I was told that Hero has formed a 600-man group of fleets to support Black Legion and Solar in today's fights. And currently, right now, Pandemic Legion is actually in the middle of a move fleet where they're moving out of HLW Kursk and into Russian space.
Which Russian space? Like towards Geminate or up towards the northeast? Do we know?
I'm not sure. I don't know where exactly they're moving to, but I do know that everyone has fleets formed right now. I'm flying around in my Covops right now on a different screen, and I just passed a 161-man Kursk Russian fleet and a 120-man. Sorry, I'm about to lose my Covops.
Oh no!
You're so bad.
That's what happens when you do a TV show and scout at the same time. Yeah, exactly. Don't stream and drive.
I wasn't paying attention as I took that last warp.
Right.
Oh, whoops.
So
Always pay attention.
that's going to be weird
Covops down.
politically, right? Like whoever ends up So, I mean, PL could have basically wiped out Brave if they felt like it, I think. Like, they weren't really being serious about going after catch. They were farming them for fights and kills and having fun. Then the CSAA hits started happening, and now you're starting to see... I mean, the tripwire here is how do people feel about Black Legion, right? Like, if Brave assists Black Legion, PL will suddenly, I think, turn on them in a more serious way. I think we need to listen to some chips.
I don't know.
Sorry. There's something that's very loud about the crackling.
Go for it.
Yes.
I'm so hungry,
Won't happen
I'm so hungry, and Darius just sitting here eating.
I didn't know my mic would pick it up that loud.
Oh yeah, it's loud. It's
Sorry.
it's a little confusing though, because I mean, we talk about how PL is going to start attacking Brave, more seriously, depending on the moves that Brave chooses to make. But does PL really want this? PL doesn't want the space.
Oh, they can kill the space and not take it.
Right? Yeah, it's
But
not so
then
much about,
doesn't
like,
it just leave it open for Brave to take back again? Like,
Yeah,
do they
but
really
lose.
want to wipe out Brave and make it so that they don't want to fight anymore? That seems a little counterproductive to the let's shoot Brave and have some fun mentality that they went into this having.
Right.
So
I'm not
what
sure
made
that
it shift? What made it shift into serious mode, I guess, is the question.
If they start showing up to defend, because PL and BL hate each other's guts, right?
Well,
and
yes.
so if Hero starts showing up to defend or assist Black Legion, PL won't take catch, but what they'll do is it'll be a punitive thing, right? Like to punish them for doing it. I would suspect that they'll go after the CSAAs that Hero has. They'll say, like, if you're helping Black Legion, we can't trust you to be uninvolved in this, and so we're going to torch all your yards. I mean, that's what I'd do. But I'm a dick, so.
I was gonna say, but you're a spiteful asshole, so.
I am, but I mean, it's like one of those balance of powers thing. Like, Brave had sort of positioned themselves as being sort of in a nice, like, happy PvP content farming fishbowl along with CVA, and between Providence and Catch, you can go there, roam, and have some fun, have some big fights. If they get involved seriously in a block war, by, I don't know. On the other hand, you can't really blame them, can you? Because, I mean, if they get farmed by PL, then a lot of their members are going to want to, enemy of my enemy. They're going to want to snuggle with Black Legion. So it becomes a question of what's the proximate cause of that, right?
Absolutely.
Is it...
I think the idea that you're just going to sit around and kick some little kid in the balls over and over again, and have fun farming
Right.
in perpetuity
Right.
is just dumb as hell and never.
That worked out
actually
really well
happened.
for Bob, right? I mean,
It doesn't work. It only works if it's a bunch of fucking role-playing retards like there were in Providence at the time who just got farmed for like a decade before AAA finally decided to end them.
I was so mad when AAA killed them too.
Yeah.
wasn't that Manny's fault? I mean, that was
Yeah, that was Manny.
basically- It was just
Manny.
Manny was like, I'm going to roll Providence because.
Yeah,
Like, it wasn't really
it was the
AAA.
literally the best place to go roaming in Eve was Pravi, and then Manny killed it.
And that's like the only time that's consistently like worked. So because eventually the little kids get mad and eventually they grow up and they start lifting weights and then they're ready to like shoot back, and then you don't have the option of doing that anymore.
Yeah,
Exactly.
kick puppies and eventually they come
Up
back.
until this point, Heroes kind of remain third party neutral, where they haven't really chosen a side. But if
Right.
they're going out and helping
A side will
BL
choose
and stuff
them.
like this, well, yeah, and
It's
they're
numbers.
actually they're
You
being
look-
they're
Even
going to
if they're-
eventually be picked.
Even if they're just gonna latch on to Elo and he's just gonna keep fucking retardedly slapping himself in front of a fucking pickup truck every day, he's still gonna keep retardedly slapping himself in front of a pickup truck every day. It's not gonna. He's still gonna need that attention, and he's gonna want a real fucking fight. So I mean, I just don't know why they think that they're able to just kind of kick these guys in the dick every day and not have anything come of that. That makes no
Right,
sense to me.
but
Especially if
with-
there's quantity there.
With Hero going and picking a side, essentially helping out Black Legion in these fights, or helping out whoever in these fights, they're effectively assigning themselves to a side, which means the other side is going to start kicking them in the nuts as well as PL.
They were already on a side, but you're on a side that as soon as somebody starts shooting you, you're on a side. So whether they align themselves with BL, I think that was a good point. Maybe that pushed them over to BL, but then again, maybe they're useless and PL wouldn't want them anyway. Like there's a lot of ways to look at
Yeah,
this.
well, it's interesting though, because when BL came down from Venal to participate in the fight, because Spin Zone CFC kicked their asses and sent them packing or whatever other Spin Zone bullshit we want to throw in there, right? So BL moves down and decides, okay, we're gonna help Brave, kind of. So BL throws in their lot with Brave because, of course, BL and PL don't get
Yeah,
along,
anytime
so they
PL
would never.
fights someone,
Well,
BL will offer their assistance to try to kill them.
Well, right. So we have this thing where, Brave and PL are fighting each other, and it's fun and it's interesting to read about and it's content neat, but it's not really a big deal yet. Like, nothing really big is happening. There's not any like serious loss of territory either way. There's huge ISK, obviously losses on both sides, but it's not a huge deal. Well, now BL is thrown in their lot with Brave, so now it's like, okay, PL really doesn't like Brave or Black Legion, so now PL really wants to seriously murder instead of just have some fun Black Legion. And now you've got Black Legion Brave kind of in the middle, being pulled from both sides to say, okay, well, now we've got this war that we want to go get involved when all the way out there that, Brave probably really doesn't give too much shit about.
Well, BL
that they're
is
kind of being
a tough
pulled
time
into.
now, haven't they? Yeah. Because they lost a Titan and like 8 supercarriers the other day. Because they decided to move a supercap fleet through one of PL's primary fishing systems in Losec, which is a brilliant plan.
It was the fishing headquarters for Pandemic Legion before Phoebe.
That is like sticking your dick into a blender and then being surprised when you need to get stitches or it's gone. Like, God, I don't even know. Like,
yeah, no, I mean, in Brave Hero has to be careful here because the way Eve works is, diplomatically speaking, everything you do or every fleet you take to help someone is going to have repercussions. And
absolutely,
if you're working with not Pandemic Legion, but with Black Legion, they have a lot of enemies. And people like the CFC see you working with them. They're like, okay, that's what side they're on, and we're going to go. Shoot them then.
They had sort of an adorable naivete about them initially speaking, because when Blue Ice would send fleets to help NC Dot in Fountain against us in the last couple months, and we would basically be like, what the fuck are you doing? Some of them would react by basically being like, oh, well, it's just an FC and it's just we're neutral, we're not actually doing anything. And I think that there's sort of like a soak period for people to realize that nullsec block politics, like you can say that you're neutral and that you're just shooting whatever, but everybody knows that honorable third parties, including ourselves, aren't. And maybe they just haven't figured that out yet. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, I mean, I think the thing is that much like, in real life, if I can Sun Tzu for a minute.
Okay. We need like a Sun Tzu graphic, right? Like just like the spin zone, we'll get a Sun Tzu.
We need a Sun Tzu graphic with Darius' head on it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Happy Sun Darius Tzu.
But
DJ Sue.
At the end of the day,
we're gonna do that.
At the end of the day, what people maybe don't think of when they go to do this shit, especially younger people who are new to this game, is that you don't always get to pick whether you're neutral or not. There's two sides to every conflict, and sometimes you think you're on one side, but the other side thinks you're on another, and that's what matters. Like, you can think you're some neutral third party and say, hey, bro, I'm just a neutral guy flying through here. But if everyone else decides you're a dick, that's really kind of irrelevant. So how you represent yourself is kind of pointless.
Yeah, I think Brave is old enough now, like in my opinion, when people are like, oh, Brave are new, they just don't get it. Don't worry about it. They're fine. They're old enough now. They get it now.
When you start putting Tengu fleets on grid, you've surpassed that box.
You get it now. You know what you're doing. You're throwing in your lot, knowing that there are consequences now. So,
They still have a council. So, I mean...
Well, I guess maybe there's certain parts where they don't know what they're doing, but let's...
Yeah, I don't know. Well,
I don't know.
This has been... that leadership structure has been relatively stable-ish for that. I don't know. Maybe we should stop slagging on them because, like, it's not really
slagging on them.
You know what? I want Brave to succeed just because I want to see something similar to the test model that once was, that we're new and we kind of suck, but don't worry, one day we'll get there. You watch. And I want them to be able to do it because I want to see them do well. I don't know what that noise is. If you guys
I don't know what it
that.
is either. Is that coming from you?
I think someone is drilling upstairs. Either that or someone just let rip the loudest, most annoying fart I've ever heard in my life. No, someone is drilling upstairs. That's fantastic.
Lovely.
Oh my god, really, guy? Real? Okay. But anyways, I'll get my point.
Tell them to have sex instead. That'd be a lot more interesting.
That happens all the time. It's really frustrating. I hate it. But for real though, I want to see Brave succeed. I want to see them do well, and I'm scared for them in this situation because this is a big political, hodgepodge of stuff that if this is their first time kind of like walking into this, this big sort of block warfare thing. It's scary, and there's a lot of stuff to learn from it, but it can be very difficult to maneuver through. Sorry.
Drilling
I'll
is
mute
just
myself now.
volleyball. No, it's fine. I don't know. I think that the thing about the start of the Geminate campaign, like the Geminate campaign could have actually been a lot shorter already. I think if it was begun more sensibly, to get all Sun Tzu, like here we need our Sun Tzu graphic. One of the things that the campaign began with before the holidays, a few weeks, I guess, 4 or 5 weeks ago, was Solar Fleet attempting to do headshots against the Legion of Death staging system in BWF-ZZ. And you don't begin a campaign with headshots. So what happened there was Legion of Death was actually militarily pretty strong. Then Solar tried sort of a preemptive headshot, which failed, like these things usually do. You can only do that at the end of a campaign once people's morale is broken. Then Legion of Death ended up putting more than 300 people by themselves on the field, which has never happened before in years that I've seen from that alliance. So now MacTep seems to be bringing more, and MacTep being the leader of Solar Fleet, seems to be bringing more and more people to try again. And now you're starting to see fights finally in like I-6 or places that aren't their staging system. But I think that if they hadn't made the classic strategic error of trying a preemptive headshot, this war could have already succeeded by now. But it'll probably drag on for a while. I mean, the time zones in this thing are just a disaster, right? I mean, people are setting it for what are these timers are coming out? When are they coming out? What time zone are they coming out last? Do you know offhand?
Give me 1 second. I can actually pull up a timer sheet.
The reason, by the way, I think so many people focus on headshots is because they don't have the leadership to maintain numbers for extended periods of time, and that's been an issue specifically in the Russian community for a decade now.
It's also really good for
the
morale,
Russian side of the game.
Like headshotting is super good for morale. Like, look, we
Except
did this
that it never
awesome
works.
thing. I know.
Yeah,
If it works,
it never
though.
works. You
They
get a
think it
bunch of
does.
people
They're not
in there,
learning
but
the lessons. Yeah.
And
Looks
if you can't maintain big numbers over a long period of time, then you can't maintain a campaign.
Right.
So if he doesn't think he can get the numbers he needs to wipe them out, he's going to try and get everyone to show up just once and be like, "Come on, guys, let's headshot him." And when that doesn't work, you're kind of left standing there holding your dick in your hand, like, well.
Right.
And
You
then
just
it
have
was
the
fundamentally
fallout.
Sorry, you go, Nystrik.
I was gonna say, then you have the fallout from that, where if you don't headshot successfully, you have the complete opposite effect, where your morale goes from like here to like in the gutter.
Yeah, now
Like,
everyone's
that's
like,
it.
"Why'd you kick me in the dick?" And now and they may have numbers, and now they're going to come back. It's just
It's a mess. I mean, the thing is that
it's
Eve's
ripple out.
Sov War, regardless of what system it is, be it Post War, or be it the Dominion Sov system, or whatever they end up revamping it to, it's always about attrition warfare. Like, it's trench warfare. It's this long slog. And Dominion, like, you can't take a system faster than, like, it takes a week, basically, to slog through all the timers. So when you have an alliance that's used to having like elite PvP, like they're running around in their ships and they're doing dramatic battles and they're winning against impossible odds, those guys are, they're logging on, they're fighting for a few hours, they're, being happy about their kill mails, high-fiving each other, and then they're going off to play a different game or whatever, as opposed to, Sov War, which is this nightmarish slog. It's always been that way. And the endurance and stamina, like you see these organizations like with, Spin Zone or whatever, like the CFC, like we're not necessarily good at elite PvP, but we slog, we love attrition war. We've always been based around attrition warfare. And so that maybe that's why, Sean's point, Darius's point is that like these guys do what they think is easy because they don't have the stamina for attrition war. So they're going to try to take the headshot and hope for the best.
Speaking of Sov warfare,
I
have
sense a segue. An official segue.
So Proteus, we've got patch notes for Proteus, a lot of news about Proteus, a lot of in addition to that, a lot of news of what is to come, with not a whole lot of details, but a lot of news of this is what we are planning from the side of CCP. So we've got news for CCP that they've got Sov changes, like notes on what they're going to do, and they just have to present them to the CSM, and then we will find out about it when those minutes are released, and they will be up for discussion. So what are some of your hopes for some of these Sov changes?
Well, I don't know. I mean, the thing is that people in nullsec have made it pretty clear what we want, right? Like we had the null deal where every single entity in nullsec got together and signed a document saying that when you're going to be doing Sov revamp, even though we're all enemies and hate each other's guts, the leadership of nullsec all believes that, based upon what our members say, based upon how we know the game, that some sort of occupancy-based Sov is where we would like to see it go. And we had very broad guidelines, right? Like the null deal, if you look at the document, it doesn't actually have anything saying you need to have this gameplay element because they're devs, we're not developers, and so we don't want to get too specific. I don't know whether they're actually going to do anything with it because there is this weird period of, sort of pushback and change from CCP immediately after, because we had the Phoebe release right after the null deal came out, thereabouts. Right. And what was strange about that is the shakeup, internally. We don't want to touch on this too much because it's a sensitive topic, but one of the prime movers in the past in terms of looking at nullsec revamps was CCP Grayscale. Right. Who is relatively recently no longer with the company. So it's really anybody's guess as to what CCP is going to present to the CSM. Are they going to take the CSM seriously? Because half the difficulty we've had with the CSM recently is that they have been getting railroaded and ignored, it seems, more than in the past. I have no idea what they're going to do. And that's a little worrying, I guess you'd say.
Yeah. It's exciting to see that they're finally going to do something with it, or at least talk about doing something about it. And in all seriousness, I've been really hyping up the fact that they're going to do soft changes for a few months here. So
it's really easy to hype up a fact that you're going to do something, and it's a lot harder to put a plan together.
I was going to say, but that was going to be my point. Is that it's very scary.
Yeah, I'm going to take over. I'm going to do something really cool politically soon.
Yeah,
I believe you, Darius.
It's just marketing. Nobody fucking.
Well, I mean, nobody has
Darius Johnson, Goonswarm CEO 2015 is what we just heard, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, though, and to give a little bit of credit to CCP, though, is that they've been making a lot of very positive changes. There's sometimes when a change comes out and you're like, why did you bother doing that? Okay, sure.
Jump fatigue.
Yeah, I mean, jump fatigue, people say what they want to say about jump fatigue. It's an interesting mechanic. It might not solve a lot of the issue of force projection that we all know is an issue with larger alliances, where they could just take a bunch of Titans and whatever else they want. Just be like, here, we're on the other side of the planet. Have fun, whatever. But I mean, it's done something where, I mean, we remember that huge fight where Black Legion slow-boated all the way through space, and it took them hours. So, I mean, there's something to be said for that.
Yeah, speaking of which, Pandemic Legion is actually doing that right now. Slogging through Phoebe changes because they're moving their cap fleet and they're getting bubbled and called and all that stuff.
Well, the thing about it, I agree with your point that CCP in general is making a much more bold move. So, for example, when I was on the CSM and many CSMs before, people would try to tell old CCP, what I'll call them old CCP, basically like a pre-Seagull Andy Nordgren run CCP, to say things like get rid of the limit on the queue, right? And they never did because of reasons. And now they've gotten rid of clone costs. They've gotten rid of the time limit on the queue. And these are very sensible, quality of life gameplay decisions that would have been impossible previously. I don't know why, whether because of Icelandic dogma or what the hell the thinking was.
It depends on what the change was. The other thing to note there is that change doesn't happen overnight. So
absolutely,
many changes that you're seeing now are actually the result of months, if not years, of work.
Absolutely. But it's very exciting to see that CCP is moving ever gradually in a very positive direction. They're making a lot of really good quality of life changes, which we've talked about, especially on TMC Live, endlessly. I mean, obviously, there's something to be said that for jump fatigue, where people are like, I don't really know what this is for, but okay. But
I do. It's because Grayscale's been trying to do it for 4 years.
Right, but there's also some
finally
people
someone listened to them.
Right. Well, there was some people that were saying, I'm not really sure how this fits into the grander scheme of things. That is something that we will see as
nobody was then either.
Go forward. I mean, we will see how this plays into things as things continue to change, because according to CCP, of course, that the jump fatigue and whatnot was step one of.
Well,
the
the difficulty,
revamp,
the concern is that the last time that they promised to have improvements in SOV was moving from Pos Warfare to Dominion. And so I think a lot of nullsec veterans get kind of twitchy.
Yeah.
People talk about a SOV change and improvement because the last time, it was supposed to make everything so much better. And a lot of us end up going, wow, like Pos Warfare was actually better than this.
And now we're here.
And now
Well,
we're,
at the time though, I think everyone was on board with what the changes were. It wasn't until they realized what was being done with SOV changes at the time was completely out in the open, and everyone was aware of what it was, and everyone was excited to see it happen, and they were glad to move away from POSIS and everything else. Once reality hit and people started dealing with it and whatever, they said, "Oh, this sucks too."
yeah.
But there was a lot of excitement wrapped around it, and it was presented on the whole as a big plan. It wasn't, here's a structure, we're going to take away POSes, and stay tuned next year for announcements about what the rest of our plan is.
Right.
It was a plan that was laid out, and it was what it was, and people got on board with it. Going back after the fact and saying, now that I've realized what that is, I'm not happy with it, is a completely different thing from what we have today, which is we're introducing some jump fatigue because stuff, and don't worry, more stuff's going to come because we have such a great history of delivering things that we say.
Right.
Well, it's the same thing
big
with the
difference
Ishtars.
with that. Right. Well, but there's a difference with that design model though, because yes, here we've introduced something and it's fully fleshed out. Because if we don't fully flesh it out and release it now, you guys have to wait at least 6 months before something else comes out. Now we've got a 6-week design release.
But having a
Period.
shorter release cycle
I know.
doesn't mean it takes less time to make it.
No, I understand what you're saying, but you've got a chance now to release things in a more
There's more
staggered
opportunity
sense.
for iteration.
Yes,
if
and
they
there's
actually
also
follow through,
and
which is
exactly, and they've said that they will, and I'm like I said, because I'm pretty pleased with the way things have been going so far, I'm going to give CCP the benefit of the doubt, hope it gets better, and we'll see what happens.
I'm not trying to be negative, but what
No,
I
I
will
know.
say is this. If you've gone from a cycle where you're constantly spending where you're doing 6 months development cycles, and you're used to that pace, and your developers are functioning at that pace, and your producers, especially your leadership,
Yeah.
your people who are keeping everything rolling, are operating at that pace, and now you go to a 6-week release cycle, it's really easy to get caught in the, okay, we're going to do little thing, and lose vision and not have actually teams working on things that are farther out. I'm not saying that's what's happening here. But I'm saying we're not being given any evidence that it's not happening here. And I'd be a little concerned that we're not focusing on a bunch of, because I ain't seen an expansion that's had anything substantial in it in a long time.
We've got recon changes here coming in, which I want to shift to in a second. But I like that we've got this negative versus positive
Yeah,
back
I mean,
and forth going. This is fun. I like it.
I have friends who put food on their table working at that company. I don't want them to be out of jobs. But at the end of the day, what I will say is just show me the money, right? At this point, I think it's great. Yes, in theory, moving to a 6-week development cycle, and I'm not really saying negative. It's just there's some realities. Moving to
Absolutely.
a 6-week development cycle is a positive thing if it gets you faster releases. But if you don't have somebody on the back end making sure that longer term, more overarching things are being properly planned and executed, and you're not getting visibility into that, then really all you're doing is a bunch of little shitty incremental point release changes. That's a trap that's fairly easy to fall into.
Well, I mean, my take on it is that like Phoebe was, in my view, a very major release, right? It really shook up the game in a lot of ways. This upcoming Proteus release, it seems like it's a bunch of small stuff. It's nothing that our guys are really talking about that much. I'm happy in general that CCP seems to have realized, somebody over there seems to have realized that remaining a going concern from a business perspective is good, and that bankruptcy is bad, and having subs either at least stay where they are or go up is sensible. I think that you're beginning to see more business sense, walking back the intended nerfs to your logistics people in terms of Rorquals and jump freighters after and immediately before Phoebe was released. That was a sign of sanity. It's still dumb. It should be removed completely, but whatever. But it remains to be seen if they're going to go from plateau to have some vague sensibilities of not being bankrupt and to actually producing a kind of upward subscriber curve again.
Well, we'll see. Yeah.
The biggest change of the last one was the clone changes.
That was huge.
I've been taking faction frigates out the low sec while streaming and losing them, getting potted, buying new ship, and going back out immediately. So
that should have been done years ago. Like absolutely should have been done years ago. But the thing. Sorry.
So the recon changes are the biggest thing coming out of this expansion, and it actually is a stealth buff to Ishtars because one of the weakest points of Ishtar fleets are their support ships like their Lachesis and Huggins, and they buffing the EHP effectively of these ships is going to make them even harder to kill.
I just want to interject, Laz, and say Nystrik really wanted to do that segue, and you just
No,
kinda
I segued and
Way to go,
it,
Dick.
and he's got it. No, he's got it. I'm
Sorry,
happy.
my bad.
You're fine, Laz. You got it. It's fine. I wanted Laz to talk about recon because I feel like he's got a better. I read a whole bunch of stuff about it, but there was a lot of things that I was like, realistically in gameplay, there's some of these changes that because I don't fly recon, I don't understand.
It was
how
getting
these
entirely
were-
too friendly, and I had to shake up the ant farm.
All right. All right.
Well, I just
Speaking
got
of people being angry, actually, one of the things about this upcoming patch that it didn't really bother me and it seemed to make sense, but there was a tremendous amount of mad on the forums about it, which is that they're changing the scan resolution on fighters and fighter bombers, which apparently for some reason had made most of N3 go apoplectic about, did you see that?
Yeah, the fighter bomber change is actually kind of big. What they're trying to do is nerf the ability for super carriers to sit at 0 on top of a structure and drop their fighter bombers, shoot the target, pull their fighter bombers, drop them again, shoot the target, and pull and drop. And basically, what that does is it resets the cycle time of those drones. And I believe it actually works for other drones as well. So all drones have this issue where you can constantly drop and pull, drop and pull, drop and pull. And what it does is it resets the cycle time of their weapons. So, like if you have ECM drones, you can drop them, have them jam, try to jam, and then pull them back in, and then drop again, have them try to jam, and rinse and repeat until you get a jam cycle to go off.
It's going to be curious to see like if that impacts the ability of carriers and super carriers had trouble with this earlier, but what sort of impact it has on using these capitals against subcaps. Because I mean, one of the problems in general in the game, something that I don't like personally, other people do like it, is that I think that capitals should always have support, that you need a place for subcaps in the game, and that having carrier blobs be able to dispatch subcaps at will using fighters and target painters is a problem. And I think that the reason why some people got very angry about this is because it does negatively impact their ability to abuse capitals against subcaps, and that makes them sad.
Well, the big thing right now is assigning fighters, and you can have a carrier sitting on a POS edge and assign fighters from that carrier. And that carrier, all it has to have on the carrier is nothing but drone buff modules. So you can buff its tracking, the speed, damage, all that you can buff from that carrier, and then assign those fighters. And those fighters retain those bonuses. All those buffed bonuses from carriers, they retain.
That is stupid as shit.
Yeah, so basically you can have an interceptor with 5 fighters assigned to it, and those 5
with a
fighters
completely buffed carrier sitting on a POS edge at no risk whatsoever.
Right.
This is brilliant design.
And 5 fighters from a Thanatos can have the EHP of like a battle cruiser or above and do 1100 DPS. 5 fighters assigned to an interceptor. An interceptor that does 200 DPS now has 5 fighters that can track frigates that does 1100 extra DPS on top of its 200 DPS.
It doesn't, like, it's amazing to me because drones have been historically for the last year such a focus of imbalance and just broken gameplay, and the player base has been very either the people who are in favor of it are the ones who are using all the drone fleets, and now we're doing it too because fuck you, that's why. And then, it's a constant item of discussion, and then, they barely touch Ishtars, sentry drones aren't a problem, and then you see stuff like this, and you're just like, God damn, really, guys? It would be interesting, I think, at this point, if fighters are going to be such a big point in gameplay, why don't we have a subcapital ship that's designed to, like, just a fucking flak vessel that is designed to destroy drones as a new class of ship? That would be interesting. Because then instead of just having like an anti-person, because we already have anti-support ships that are fit just for blapping interceptors and bombers and things like that. What if they had a ship kind of like in Homeworld that was just spewing flak and dealing with fighters and fighter bombers and drones?
I have to say that as a lowly subcap pilot with no ability to deploy drones, I hate them. They suck and I want them to die.
And they lag the shit out of everything on top of
Oh my God,
everything else.
that's
Like that. It's just
worst
like drone warfare is dumb. It's bad gameplay. It's always been bad gameplay. But the CFC now uses Dominic's as a line doctrine because they're just so overpowered. Why not? We cannot like it, but we'll still use it.
It's only what is important is what is effective, not that you hate it or like it.
Exactly.
If it works and it's effective, it's going to be implemented because it's all about min-maxing.
Well, that's what wins on the field. All right,
Yep.
so that was my little drone rant. I have done it, but wow, let's get back to the Proteus stuff. I guess so. They're changing scan resolution on that, and
What are they doing with recons? I heard they were doing something with recons.
They are making them where they can't be scanned via directional scanner.
We didn't say that.
What? Yeah, they did.
We didn't say that yet.
No, we did not say it yet. But
Yeah,
that's
okay.
that's the big change with recons is they're making it where you cannot no longer see combat recons on the directional scanner. So your Hugin's, Curse, Lachesis, sorry, I had to remember the last one. Lachesis, it can't be Rooks can't be seen. So the only way to be able to tell them that they're there without being on grid is to use probes.
what I want to know is if when this happens, whether the Pilgrim is finally going to be worth flying, right? Like the Pilgrim has been basically dog shit
Pilgrim
here.
used to own.
In 2006,
Yeah.
it was pretty great before the NOS changes, and then it's
The
basically
golden
been.
days.
Yeah,
Oh, that was
exactly.
a long time ago.
So the early days of Black Ops in like 2006, when we first formed Goonswarm's Black Ops, like we would run around with Pilgrims and they were great. Then they changed the mechanics of NOS and they became just terrible, and they remained terrible for what almost a decade now. And I think one of the last time I looked at what they were changing on the Pilgrim, they gave it sort of a hybrid bonus where it gets both some range and some NOS benefits. So you can ideally, maybe at 20 kilometers, be able to actually orbit somebody and NOS them out. The problem with the Pilgrim was that it would only work in facefuck range, and you had to be completely committed to a fight at like 6 kilometers
Well, they
on
also
top of
nerfed
somebody.
NOS.
That sounds like my kind of ship. I love facefuck range. It's my
They
favorite way to
They
fight.
nerfed NOS too.
Yeah, they did nerf NOS as well, but I think the idea is that they are allowing those ships to still have a benefit from NOS, at least some of them, even when their capacitor is the balance of capacitor is not in their favor.
Oh, all right.
I don't know. I mean, the thing is that like here's this entire series of ships with good U-boat style gameplay, like sneaking up on people, hunting them down, doing interesting things, and it would be nice if that actually worked. So
Yeah, the Pilgrim they merged the bonuses to where they get the range and the strength bonus now. So that was the big thing with the Pilgrim was they only had the amount, not the range, but they do have the range bonus now.
yeah. I don't know. It's nice with the new rendering system too, because ships like the Curse look just absolutely amazing. Like the graphics in Eve now after the last release are just fantastic.
Yeah, the one you're talking about, the bonus where they can still newt NOS even though they're below their actual cap percentage. They didn't actually add those to the.
Oh, that's on the Blood Raider
you're right.
ships. That's right. That's a good point. So thanks for clarifying that, LRM. That's.
I was going to say we could just read the channel. We could just read chat for the show.
Read chat and
Yeah.
tell
They're
us
very
what-
quick
Guys, how
to
does this
correct us when we're wrong. It's
Well, that's actually
awesome.
LRM is in on the Goonswarm fittings team in Illuminati, and his entire job is to
Yeah.
basically tell us that our ideas about ships are foolish and that we should be doing it a different way. Which in
That's what he does. He just sits there. Spreadsheets. My spreadsheet says you're off by 0.2%.
not a spreadsheet, his EFT. He's got his own thing. So
Spreadsheets are important.
I'm glad that we have people to do spreadsheets for us because I can barely do basic mathematics. Like I can't even add up my checking account, much less fit a ship properly.
Or mop the floor.
One of the crazy things, like this is completely
Or mop the floor.
not Proteus related, but I meant to mention this when we were talking about the whole Russian wars and Geminate and all that. But the solar side has actually been using DDoS every single fight. They've been DDoSing Pandemic Legion, NC Dot, Death. They've been DDoSing all the services for those every single fight.
Well, that sounds like a war I really want to get involved in.
Accusations of that pop up every time this happens. So every time somebody fights, they start saying someone's DDoSing them or whatever.
Oh no,
There's no way to prove that.
well, I've got graphs of.
Having a fucking graph doesn't mean that that's the person doing it.
Well, no, I'm saying it's Solar side. Their coalition is doing it because everyone on the other side of coalition is one services that are going offline.
Right,
Yeah,
so
or-
it's not necessarily
a
something
billion
that's
other
directed. Like when we
Right.
fought White Noise way back in the day in 2011, I think we experienced some DDoSing. And a lot of times it's not something that the higher ups are directing, right? Because there would be logs of that, right? Like somebody would leak it if there was something in a command channel where somebody's like, activate the DDoS cannon, it would get out and it would be a big scandal and everybody would get banned. What happens is that usually there's somebody has a script kiddie on their side, and unbeknownst to their leadership, that guy is patriotically pushing the button and doing it. But that's one of the reasons why fighting Russians is not very much fun in my experience, and that's why we try to avoid it wherever possible.
That's funny. For a glorious leader.
So
damn North Koreans.
You're better off just fighting countries where they have things like laws.
Yeah, you're gonna get us all killed.
Oops.
But not me. Yeah. It's America, boy. We got guns.
You implying Canada doesn't have guns?
I don't know what you people have up there.
Implied?
I don't know. I watch plenty of Trailer Park Boys. They have guns.
They have lots of guns.
Basically everything I know about Canada is Trailer Park Boys.
That's so
That's a very interesting documentary.
It's made me adore your country.
I introduced my parents
then it's
to
all
Trailer Park
accurate.
Boys over the
It's
holidays,
all right.
and they loved it. So we have these couple of 70-year-old retired scientists who are watching Trailer Park Boys and just laughing their asses off. And
they have to see the last season. How far have you gotten? Have you seen the last season?
I'm only on season 3 or 4 because I watch it at night before I go to bed when yeah.
There's a whole season where the whole plot line is fucking there's this secret toy train there's a society of toy train builders, and Sebastian Bach and Patrick Swayze, I think it is, are involved in these toy trains, and Sebastian Bach fucking hates Patrick Swayze because his train always wins. So there's a whole and Bubbles is really into toy trains. So there's a whole season with Sebastian Bach where the whole premise of the season is that they're building
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, well, whatever. They're building a really long
Everyone's so mad at you now.
How are you gonna get mad about
done?
Is this really a spoiler? For fuck's sake, I'm not saying how it ends. I'm saying what the overarching premise of the season is.
I'm gonna have to watch this now.
Yeah.
Also, who the hell is Sebastian Bach?
I'm not telling you anything that's not written on the back of the fucking box. He was the lead singer from one of those 80s hair bands.
Okay.
Yeah, he's American. But what happens, basically the whole overarching plot of the season, they're trying to build a toy train line from Canada to Sebastian Bach to smuggle pot, basically. So it's just this wonderful, and that's the whole, it's fucking 20 episodes of that. It's wonderful.
Wow. Okay, I'm going to have to check that out. That's amazing.
Because that wasn't a spoiler.
That was very relevant to EVE Online, everybody.
Well, we're being meta. I mean, this is the show for that.
Right.
That's our excuse, and I'm sticking to it.
On some meta level, this was relevant to.
If you can find a toy train, you can forget.
If you're not watching Trailer Park Boys, though, seriously, you are doing it wrong. It is an amazing show, assuming that you like things that are funny and don't hate life.
K Killer keeps messaging me to ask Nystrik where she lives, but not that creepy.
Let's not be creepy.
I want to make her my co-pilot.
Is what?
Oh God!
Who asked for that?
Such is life in the zone.
Yeah, it's a girl on the internet system. Let's.
Oh my God! Is that a grill?
Nobody ever wants to sleep with me.
I wonder why. The whole chat wants to sleep with you. Don't even, Darius. Everyone in the chat wants.
That's true. All both girls on the internet are sending me messages all the time.
I don't even know.
Oh,
okay,
dear.
so nominally we should be talking about Proteus, but instead of talking about Proteus, we're talking about Trailer Park Boys, which means that I think that we're done talking about Proteus. We've got combat recon changes that are...
There wasn't much in Proteus.
Is there anything more than that?
They're doing a bunch of smaller changes. They're changing around the way that, they're...
Change
what do they call it? Called it tiericide. So they're changing the way that...
They're diddling with meta levels on...
Yeah, they're changing the way meta levels work. They're making it so that instead of there being a clear cut, this is the best, it's depends on how you want to play the game. We'll see how that actually works out.
If I was being a negative Nancy, I'd say, okay, so Proteus is a bunch of ship balance changes just like the last 6 patches.
Well, the last couple patches
the only
were pretty
recon
significant
changes.
in what they did. This one seems more like, I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This seems kind of like a guys, we're getting ready for the holidays, and the entire office is gone.
They do
Get
close for
something
like a
quick,
month.
Please,
Yeah, I mean,
thanks.
most of the games industry as a whole just shuts the fuck
Yeah.
down. You know, in the run up to Thanksgiving to December, like the industry just stops. And so, you know, this is a smaller patch, and there's just no other way to say it. I was surprised because I thought that they would be adding one of the new tier 3 destroyers because they added the Confessor last time around. And so I figured that each of these patches you'd have a new destroyer released.
I'm a little sad that that's
Well, ships make the game, right? So like whenever there's a release that includes some sort of new hull, everybody gets excited about it. Like, oh wow, that's really sexy because the art department always does such great work whenever they do a redesign.
amazing.
And this time around, there's no ships this time, right? Like I'm not hallucinating that. Oh, there's a new Exkurker model, which does look good. That's true. But like, where's the next Confessor, basically?
Hopefully next
Well, I
patch.
think it was supposed to be this one, but I think they said they were going to move it back. To the
Okay.
next. We'll sit here and wait. I think the next one was what, Kaldari? Which Kaldari?
Yeah, I guess it's in the order of that role playing event that they did. Like whoever turned in the most widgets got their destroyer first. Has somebody actually come up with a good build for the Confessor yet? Like, is it actually?
Dude, the Confessor's so broken.
I love to
basically
hear that.
basically
yes.
10 men afterburner plus beams, and you just go around zonking everything.
Do you do that in defensive mode or sniping mode or speed mode or what?
You swap. You can swap on the fly.
You actually,
Any,
but
all
is it
of the
actually
above.
wild to do that? Because like that was one of the things that I had a question about with these destroyers. Is that like it struck me that you would build a fit for it optimized for one particular mode. You would probably just keep it in that mode. Did they actually, from a gameplay perspective, manage to get it where it would be valuable and worthwhile to swap on the fly?
Yeah, with the 10 MN afterburner fit, basically you can go in, get super close, and go into defensive mode, and then if you need to actually bug out, you just swap to speed mode and you just burn away. And you're doing like 3K a second or something with the 10 MN
That's
afterburner.
fantastic.
That's
You have
really
to-
interesting.
Do you have to role play while you're doing that?
Yeah.
Obviously.
You have to wear your robe and a hat like any other true Omarian.
Engaging thrusters for the queen.
There's this guy on the EVE Online Facebook group who is unironically Amar role playing all the time, who's always like posting photoshops of him in an Amar robe. And
That's terrifying.
That's
Yeah.
I'm
wonderful.
really glad I'm not
It's-
part of that Facebook group.
it's a
I
thing
vote
that
he
exists.
becomes emperor. That's my vote.
I think that would be great. Let's
He deserves
tell him
it.
that he's the emperor and then just get him to do it more. And just see if all the power, all the internet fanfiction power goes to his head, right?
Never make fun of that man. Every time he posts one of those photoshops, I don't care. Fucking like it and say it's the best goddamn thing you've ever seen. Like,
Maybe
wow,
maybe
dude,
that's what we should
super
do.
Cool robe.
Let's like Emperor Norton. We could turn him into the Eve equivalent of Emperor Norton. We can have everybody in the CFC officially recognize him as the leader of the Amar Empire, and
And then it will
just
become
follow
a-
him around and just like say follow at his feet. Everybody officially worship him.
Everyone who's Amar.
And, that would be a good excuse for us to roll Providence, because if they don't actually acknowledge this guy as their real emperor, then obviously they're heretics and rebels and need to be put down.
And you
so-
just ask them what to do all day long.
Yeah, like, all right, just,
We do.
that's actually a really good idea. So we should probably start a campaign to have CVA formally, we will go to war against CVA unless they formally acknowledge, I think, this guy as the emperor of R.
All right,
And
you
then
heard it here first, CFC. We know our new target.
And then it'll be a fight between who has the biggest ego. Mittani or this other guy.
Oh no! I will bow at his feet.
Okay, so
No,
you're
I will.
gonna.
I'm
oh,
saying
all
that
right.
he is the real Amar Emperor,
Yeah.
and that I'm gonna, on his behalf, we're gonna go to war to make sure that everybody
He's calling the
understands and
shots.
respects his power. I mean,
Oh
he
my
is.
God.
He's in charge, not us, right? Like this isn't about us. This is about what's best for Amar and Providence.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
Some things transcend individual ego. Nystrik have to understand
exactly.
these things.
The power of the
Nothing
aesthetics, the art
transcends
that he has
man's ego.
posted, it swept me away, and I have been converted to his cause that he probably doesn't realize is actually his cause.
Fucking
He's
champ.
It's a brilliant idea, Darius.
Oh my
We got to
God.
make this happen.
Place.
That's terrible.
I'll come play.
That'd be great.
I think it's time to take questions.
Oh wow, we've
And
been doing
maybe
this
do
for.
a
Have we
giveaway.
been doing this for an hour and a half? I think we have.
Yeah,
been doing
I
it
think
for
it's
an hour.
time to do.
So everybody's going to go fight in Geminate, and we're going to ignore the entire Russian war, and we're going to go fight to put the real emperor, who is that guy who posts photoshops of himself on Facebook,
In charge.
If you guys have questions, you can go ahead and type them out while we discuss how this role-playing adventure will
We've
work.
never actually.
We can't really
Providence
put it
is
together.
like.
He's in charge. It's up to him how this plays out.
Well, we
He
can
has an
petition
army.
him. Yeah, we can have a. We just take orders from Emperor Norton or whatever we're going to call him.
Whatever his name is. Is that his name, Emperor Norton?
No, but I mean that was the guy in San Francisco back in the 1800s who declared himself the emperor of the United States because he said that the U.S. needed a king, and he would wander around in a fucking top hat on the streets of San Francisco back in the 1800s, and people would, and he was a really nice dude and like a community leader kind of dude, and people were like, instead of like you crazy bum dude.
Is he like the Al Sharpton of the 1800s? Is that what it is?
Not kind of like that, but he would be like
just lay down in front of people's horses.
No.
I'm not going anywhere.
But he was like apparently he was like this really nice dude, and so instead of just going like you're a fucking nutcase, he would try to help people out because that was what the emperor should be doing for his subjects, and so people liked him. It was pretty cool.
You can learn a lot from this guy.
Laz,
What's up?
Eurondis really wants you to notice him because you're his senpai.
I know. I've been purposely ignoring him just to see how long he'll spam.
Oh, okay, well, now you've noticed him.
Okay.
You're welcome, Eurondis.
Somebody has already made a Reddit thread about how the CFC is deploying to Providence.
Yay.
Oh, God.
Is it really?
Everyone wants to know when the invasion will start.
Well, we first have to petition the emperor to determine how he would best prefer the invasion to go. And then after that, we'll see. It's on his timeline, not ours, because we are but his most humble subjects. He just doesn't know it yet.
Like, what sort of leadership structure would he like? Does he want to take over the existing, corporation or alliance?
Does he want to be in charge of all of CVA? Does he want to own all of Providence? Does he just want us to kill the unbelievers who have sullied his name with their heresy? Role-playing is very serious, and I think
Should there be a separation between church and state? Should he maybe be over here as God Emperor and them just kind of running the boring alliance?
I've learned from Crusader Kings too, like the importance of religious doctrines like autocephaly, how do you say it, and anti-disestablishmentarianism, and we have to sort these things out to see whether we fit in with his doctrine appropriately, or whether we should just put everybody to the sword.
And of course, it has to be all Omar ships only. Of course, you can't fly if you're fighting for the Omar cause. You can't fight.
You don't get to don't put words in God's mouth, Nystrik. I think it's up to the God Emperor.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he wants us to use Tempest Fleet issues. I mean, it could be one of those things where he's trying to teach us religious tolerance while purging everybody in Providence.
Maybe he's a really cool guy. That's a good point. I never thought of it that way. So here's a legit question. Furby wants to know, with the upcoming changes to, well, he's asking for, I guess.
The answer's no.
Yeah, don't even let Mittens or DJ hear the question. With the upcoming change to recon, do you think we'll see more emphasis on recon or E-war fleets rather than just usual T3 points and webs? So Laz is a firm no. Before I even get to finish the question.
Okay, so the thing is that in fleets, recon is in a weird position. Usually E-war is better, at least in our doctrines where we have multiple fleets on a single side. The CFC usually has a specialist E-war fleet. We call it a fuck you fleet. It's usually a configuration of Celestii and arbitrators. We've always been big fans of E-war, and we have lots of recons in our fleets. Are they going to be a separate doctrine from the existing fuck you fleets? I kind of doubt it. It's usually more cost effective to use a Celestis for damping things than using a Lachesis or an Arazu. Lachesis are there for super points along with Proteuses. I haven't heard anything really in terms of major doctrine changes out of anything from this patch. So we'll just have to see. I mean, if LRRM and the fittings team comes around and say, hey guys, we're going to change everything, we'll roll with that. But the fleet meta hasn't changed in this game in a really long goddamn time, which is a problem. And I don't think it's going to change with this change.
Yeah, the recons are still going to be super fragile, so they're going to get alpha off the field no matter what. So your E-War responsibilities are going to be given to the Tech 3 still.
Yeah. We're getting a lot of red shirt questions. I specifically refused to wear the red shirt this time just because I was getting trolled about it. And also with the green screen, which I have behind you, I'm not really sure whether it'll actually work with this overlay. But when we were at the Sony studios, my red shirt on a green screen actually came off looking orange. And I look very sexy, I think, in a red shirt. But orange, I don't think looks good on anybody. So we'll experiment with it. Next time, I will wear a red shirt and we'll see if I can get the color balance correct.
That's kind of rude thing to say.
So, some asshole is drilling again.
Why?
Fucking piece of shit.
How much do you have to drill?
It's fucking, what time is it? It's fucking like 5 o'clock on a Saturday? Shut
Maybe
up.
he's a driller. Maybe that's
Well,
his
he
job.
needs to shut up. He's too loud. So it doesn't look like we have too many
Right,
more
house.
questions. A lot of people are wondering if they keep saying we, so I'm assuming that means the CFC. When
Right.
will we go to war again? Is specifically for fun, because
Could just be
fun
America.
is where
It could
it's
be
at,
America.
right?
Well,
It could
peace
be-
sucks, right? I mean, peace is
Oh.
awful. So we might do the Pravi thing. I've been looking around for a good war to get involved into. I don't really like Russian wars because you're fighting Russians versus Russians. Everybody ends up with a blood feud after it. I don't really want to see Black Legion set up and Geminate, which means that I would rather see Legion of Death hold that territory. But I don't think you're going to see us actively intervening unless the balance of power there shifts. I don't think it would be very entertaining for our guys. This is one of those situations where in EVE, in the meta, historically speaking, this would be where we would play either the Spin Zone or the Sun Tzu graphic, right? Historically speaking, holidays are always campaign season. And one of the things that it might be a consequence of Phoebe, because that's the new variable here, is that this holiday season there was no real campaigning. There was no real anything that happened, which is quite unusual. Now that people are getting out of the holidays, people are getting bored across the game. And so you're starting to see these blocks begin to play their cards on the table. Like PL moving all of their fleets away. That's a huge thing that's happening as we're speaking. Geminate seems like it's going to be a focus of conflict for a lot of people that are only partially invested in that war, right? They're looking for something to do. They don't want to fight the CFC. They're going to go slap fight and Geminate. So the long preamble before the answer is we will probably do something soon, but I want to see where everybody is committing all of these cards. We're doing a lot of org reform and work behind the scenes in the CFC right now. Regarding reforming mentor system, adding more reimbursement for peacetime for carriers, blah, 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 blah. Nobody who's not in the CFC gives a shit about that. But that's why we're not, charging off somewhere doing something right now, is because we're waiting to see what these other guys are doing to find the biggest, fattest bowl of Cheerios with the most Cheerios in it that we can then piss in, basically.
That sounds like something that's fun.
Yeah, we actually, it's a big opportunity for us because the Reavers, this group that we made relatively recently, did really well in Aquarius when NC. Came after Fountain. And when we see all these guys moving their capital fleets and moving around, it's a huge opportunity for us to deploy behind their lines once they've moved their capital fleets away to destroy their CSAAs. So one possible fun deployment for us to do is to watch all these other motherfuckers move their stuff all the way across the galaxy for hours and hours and hours, and then find their undefended bits and just stomp on them through a wormhole, which I think would be hilarious if we see people like N3 and Tenerphis move away from home.
Yeah.
We'll torch the yards, which will be great. And
Well, they're
there'll be lots of
keeping their
crying.
supers. They're keeping their supers home just so that in particular, hopefully, does not happen. So.
Well, that'll be an interesting thing because particularly just keeping your supers alone at home instead of your carriers
They
with
need
the
some
nerf
support,
to fighter
yeah.
bombers, right? Like if you have an Ishtar fleet, what are you going to do about it? You can spam E-War at them.
I guess we'll have to see. I think they're leaving all of it. I think carriers are included in that. I'm not. Yeah, dreads and carriers are supposed to be kept at home, so we'll see how that turns out for them.
Yeah, so that's basically where we are on that. Do we want to do some giveaways? I guess.
Yeah, let's do some. maybe there'll be more questions after. People are asking why Darius Johnson is the sexiest man alive. I don't have an answer for you.
It's because his
Sorry.
beer licking skills. He
I-
demonstrated his beer licking skills on live TV, and everyone is now very jealous and wants to have him lick their beard.
Oh, that makes
God
sense.
wanted it that way.
It's
why.
true. God wills it.
Sometimes it's just
Our
ours.
great emperor and leader.
No, he's just God's voice on earth. There's a
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
he'd
So,
probably
so what do we want to give away then? Do we want to give away some of our ships in honor of our
Why don't we
great
give
leader?
away let's give away a Navy APOC, I think, in honor of the real emperor of Amar.
Can we get his picture?
It's
His picture?
on it's on the EVE Online Facebook group.
Someone
I'll
should
actually-
link it. If you can link it, I think
Yeah.
I think you can, Mittani.
I'm gonna see if I can get it. Like all of
You can
his
paste
posts,
it in channel. Yeah.
like almost all of the posts in the EVE Online Facebook group have been this dude, and I don't think we want to say his name on live TV because I get in trouble when I
public
say
group.
it is.
We
a public
can.
group, sure.
That will be that.
Link it
Will,
to me and I'll say it.
that will be the
I'll put
the
Skype here.
word. The word will be emperor. That's the word for the giveaway, guys. Let me type it in here. Hold for a
For
second.
those who don't spell, you're gonna get like EMP.
For those of you who can't spell
bunch of
emperor.
retards in this chat. That's why.
So subscribers will get a little bit of luck. So your word is going to be emperor for a Navy APOC. Have fun spelling. I'm sure I spelt it right, and if I didn't, well then no one wins anything.
That's awesome. Okay.
No, we spelled it right. Okay. Oh, I have to click this Facebook link. Oh, that's just the page. Where's his picture?
Yeah, I'll find him. I don't know. I'm scrolling.
Yeah, so
He's-
he actually
he said it was like every post, but I'm still.
he calls
scrolling.
himself Max Singularity. Here's a photo of it that we can put.
Oh, I'm excited.
Here we go.
The
Is
Sunday
he the older
servant.
gentleman?
Oh my god,
he
that's
is.
wonderful.
Oh,
Isn't
I
it
fucking
great?
love this guy.
He actually-
I'm so
Oh my
glad.
God,
I'm
that's
so glad you
amazing.
told me this.
He's actually a really cool dude. I've met him a couple times at Eve Meets, and he's super chill. Like he's big into Burning Man and like stuff. And he got somebody to make him a formal Amar robe, like an actual like cosplay style, like fancy, expensive Amar robe. And that's him in it. Like that's not a Photoshop picture of his head on an Eve guide. That's him wearing his Amar robe, which obviously means that he should be the emperor. Like that's the guy.
Duh.
Max Singularity is his name. And
This guy fucking owns.
he's pretty much the best.
I'm really happy that we've pledged our allegiance to him. Oh my god, guy that's drilling, please. Please,
Here's
just for
another one.
just
I don't
for
know
5
whether
minutes.
Laz can put these things up on stream or not, but we can link them in the chat at least. So
Oh, is there
can see
another
them.
one? Yeah, I'll get it. Oh, this looks like it's gonna be
There's some
something
with
funny.
him and Captain Picard. There's some memes, and
Did he post this really bad joke, or did somebody else make it?
he's made them all himself. This
All
is him hard at work.
I'm gonna. All right, because
he-
he's the
this is
emperor.
why
I'm
he-
gonna pretend this was really funny when I link it.
Okay.
If you don't laugh at this, God hates you. That's
Okay.
fucking-
Are we ready to laugh? Are you gonna?
Yeah, I already pasted it.
Okay.
I'll paste it again. Oh, I have to read it again so I can hear the fucking. This is like reading Marmaduke. He says in the first frame, he says, it's Captain Picard, and he says, "We seek to establish peaceful diplomatic relations with the Amar." And then in the second frame, it's Max whatever, but he's photoshopped Amar symbols over his Starfleet uniform. And he says, he's thinking, seems kind of weak to be of good slave stock.
Laugh, damn you, laugh.
This guy's the best. This is never gonna end.
Okay, I think it's time to roll for this Navy APOC here. Okay, I'm gonna roll for it while you guys laugh about that.
I'm gonna be laughing about this for months.
Oh no.
This guy is never gonna end. Where's this guy from?
Where
Where in
Macabite?
California?
Macabite, you've won a Navy APOC. Makebyte is how it's spelled. I'm gonna write it down so we know.
What's that sound?
It's the drilling again.
Oh.
Shut up.
Look at that. That's another one I just linked. It's him in the but
This guy's the best.
he's
So,
awesome. Legitimate,
how do we do this again, Mittani? We get them to message the channel with their Eve name.
So when you win one of our drawings, you want to message the Twitch channel and include your Eve character name and what you won, so we can contract it to you in Jita. Usually it'll take 3 or 4 days before you get it because It's usually the weekend and we're terrible and slow. But everybody always gets their stuff. And even if you're in NC. I've given out Plex to guys in NC. Before, which is always cute. So.
Oh, he's from LA.
Yeah. Did
I meet this guy?
Yes, I told you.
Does he have a whole bunch of people he dress up with?
Yes.
Oh, I was really drunk.
He's part of the Burning Man crew. Like they all dress up.
He works at a fucking. He's a space scientist or some shit.
Bear Force One. The Reavers actually started that using wormholes to deploy different regions. Black Legion getting stuck was not a new meta, and Black Legion actually lives one jump out of Great Wildlands now for this Russian war.
I remember now. I was having a hard time not like laughing in these guys' faces. These guys were great.
They were adorable. They were totally adorable.
I fucking love this guy.
Yeah, well, he's gonna be the emperor now. He's gonna be.
He was actually pretty cool.
No, he's really chill. Like he's like a cool dude. He's just, spreading the word.
The emperor's selfie.
Okay, let's do another giveaway.
Basically, and
what do you want?
What are we gonna give away, Mittens?
Let's give away in honor of Triumvirate losing all of them to Mr. V and European Union, and then filing DMCA requests about hiding their shame. Let's give away a rattlesnake, and let's have for the rattlesnake. Let's go ahead and have the keyword be Indy, who is going to be one of our CSM candidates for the upcoming CSM election. So ENDIE.
What are we giving away again?
We're giving away a rattlesnake.
Oh.
It's the kind of ship that in theory will let you win against the CFC, except when it doesn't.
I mean, to be fair, you can never win against the CFC. Oh, no, I'm totally kidding. That's terrible.
This guy's whole fucking Facebook page is basically just photos of him photoshopped into pictures of Eve.
Stuff. Yeah.
He's fucking the best.
Huh?
Except when he's dressing up like a pirate. Oh, man.
We need to inform CVA that this is now their emperor. Whether
this guy needs to go everywhere.
He's basically the best thing that has ever happened. What we can do is actually we can declare it in a Goonswarm CEO update, and I'll include like a bunch of pictures of him and how he's like the real emperor. And then
he's in charge of CVA now. Yeah.
Right, because he is in charge of CVA now, and if I put it in a CEO update with the pictures, then we'll have to post the entire thing on the Mittani.com as like an official. This is Eve News, and this is now the emperor of CVA. And Goonswarm takes role playing very seriously, and we want to foster it in the Eve Online community because it's important.
I'm with it.
All right, guys, you have about another minute, and then we'll roll for this.
We need to tell people whether it's uppercase or lowercase, or is it case sensitive?
It's lowercase. No,
lowercase.
It's all lowercase. Most
guys.
people don't bother typing in capitals, so I don't bother typing in capitals. I'm not sure if that actually matters or not. I imagine
all
it does.
lowercase, guys.
It's lowercase. It's case sensitive.
All right, that's excellent. No, this is amazing. Like this is just like every other post on the Eve Online Facebook is basically this dude.
I remember.
He deserves it.
It's for people. Yeah. So this was at E3. I think there was a meet.
Yeah. We met him there. You were drunk.
All dressed up. Yeah.
They were in their like NASA suits, basically orange jumpsuits.
Yeah.
It's like a Burning Man carnival group or something. Like they've got a name for like what is it in New Orleans for Mardi Gras groups? They call them tribes or something or other. It's kind of like that for Burning Man, I think. Like
I thought they were those dudes who role play like they're actually on a space mission. Like they go out into the desert and they make fucking fake rovers and shit, and they role play like they've landed on the moon and they have to survive. That's what I thought they were.
They might be.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I didn't ask to.
You know who's into that?
Who?
Fucking Endy. Andy does that in Scotland. He role plays like he
just goes out there in the Highlands and goes, "I'm an astronaut, me with my border collies."
Yeah, in his Scottish accent. He's got it. You just have to look the other way when a sheep goes by. You just have to pretend it's not there and suspend disbelief, or like just pretend you flew it up there with you.
Okay, I'm gonna roll this now, guys. Marvelinho. You've won a rattlesnake.
I love
Marvelino? I don't know. I always used to make fun of streamers when they struggled to pronounce people's Twitch names, and now that I have to do it, I'm like,
shoe is
oh,
on the other foot.
this is actually really hard.
Oh my. All right, well, I think we've been going on for a very long time, and it's probably time
have.
for us to go away because reasons and stuff. I've got to go plan the invasion of Providence and to make sure that the real emperor is actually properly vested,
Of course.
such that we can better carry out his will.
Absolutely.
Well, hopefully your construction goes well. Nice trick. It
I'm
sounds
gonna
like
go up.
something-
I'm literally gonna
sounds
go
like-
upstairs and punch that guy in the face. I swear to God.
sounds
That's
like
awesome. You
progress.
should do that. You should make sure that you have your webcam there, so you.
Just record it on Vine or something and throw it up
Exactly.
or something. I don't know. I don't even have that. I guess I need to go download that on my phone.
Put it
That's
up,
what the cool kids
record
do.
it, and then put it up on World Star Hip Hop.
Bear Force, I answered your question, dude. You just weren't listening or something.
Huh?
Bear Force keeps asking some troll question that I actually answered, and he, no, I guess he didn't hear it.
I guess you didn't. I thought that's what you were answering, but I wasn't sure.
No, I answered
Oh,
his
okay.
question.
He's actually trying to ask a real question about BL. He said, last time on the meta show, you guys gave BL crap for getting trapped using a wormhole connection, but can't you also say that they have adapted to the new meta better than others, considering they stage in Venal, which they're not really staging in unless K3J has become a thing. They were away for a while. They got driven out of K3J because of 5 guys in Black Ops camping a gate next to K3J. And yeah, I don't really think that... I mean, everybody's adapting to the meta one way or the other, but I don't really think that there's a reasonable argument that says that BL is adapting better than others.
That's the Pro God Legend school of adaptation analysis, I guess.
Yeah, like it just doesn't really make much sense to me. BL is they exist. I was surprised that it turns out that the Achilles heel of BL is low level Black Ops harassment on a gate, right? Like when Elo isn't around, you camp them into a pipe. And their line members die, and then they whine about it, and then they go someplace else, and then they lose a bunch of super caps to PL. So, yeah. I mean,
All right, I think
if
it's
you're
time
looking
to
for
be.
something positive, I got nothing.
I think it's time to be done.
Are we done?
I think we're done.
Okay.
So I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Thanks for joining us in the new year. I don't know what the format will be next week. I don't know if we're going to do this again. We might. We'll see.
Are we going to have
having-
a special feature for drilling? I mean,
Yes, and there will be a special feature with that guy's face getting punched, hopefully. So, because that's really annoying.
Can
We're
you
gonna get some more
actually
graphics.
scream worldstarhiphop.com after you punch him? Just so like it seems like that was the motivation.
Nice.
Oh my goodness.
we will probably have this format just because this show needs more taco eating. I think then this is a big improvement in our content level as we have Amara Emperors, we have tacos, we have Darius Johnson's increasingly red face, which he swears is just a quirk of the green screen and totally not him. Well, at least your face isn't peeling.
I haven't had a drink.
That's important.
Oh wow, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Have you really not? That's
Not since New Year's.
wow. I'm impressed.
I don't even know what to say with that.
I'm legit impressed.
I got nothing.
I think that's a good place to.
So, like,
I
the
think that's
idea
a good
of
place to end.
At
Yeah, I
the
think
next
we're
Eve
done.
meet, Darius Johnson's not going to have any alcohol either.
Yeah, DJ's on the wagon. Fade to black.
All right, we'll see you guys next week.
Bye, everybody.
Same time. Thereabouts.
Later,
Cheers.
guys.